Exploring Glasgow looking for ruins. I cycled towards the Firth and Clyde Canal, which is close to where I live now, and also where I lived in my first year. My destination is a pub in Springburn that I've read about online, but along the canal I find my first what seems like an abandoned building. I've cycled past this building with the blue sheets in the windows very often, as it's right near the Maryhill Tesco. I think that I can perhaps stage a performance here about home, with different people contributing. While exploring the canal by bike, Glasgow became to feel like home, like mine. Different people contributing would mean a social interaction to counter the individualism of our capitalist society, the individualism that leads to misunderstanding and hatred of other people, other groups. Yes, as I walk around the building, I find out that the back is in use. Perhaps this is not properly a ruin. I cycle onwards. I am a counter tourist, but I'm not visiting heritage sites to collect dust or exchange kisses with the statue. Where my eyes are usually open for impressive buildings, church towers, or pretty parks, now I am looking for ruins. 240 Hawthorne Street, GGPTE, or the Car Club Workshop members only, catches my eye. All windows on the ground floor are boarded up, fences are placed against the crumbling wall to make it a tad bit harder for someone to get in. Big plants grow from the yard and through the fences, sometimes taking up half of the space on the pavement. Plants grow out of the wall, and inside the yard flowers, small trees with beautiful yellow and green leaves and bushes are growing. Arnold de Semina writes about the indestructible forces of nature in this constant battle between nature and culture. Ruins attest to the strength of nature, of how it might win space back from human civilization. With global warming and the resulting man-made planetary ruination, it is reassuring. Nature will cover all the mistakes that we have made. Perhaps. I follow the brick wall lined with fences all the way towards the street corner, where I turn left and find a bigger fence wide open for me to enter the yard. On my right hand are football fields. Behind the building on the left a busy road is humming. Yet here I am alone. The stillness to be found inside the ruin has a rich quality. It feels loud, like it blocks out all the sounds of everyday life. I am walking on a concrete way that crosses the yard towards the space behind the football fields. It's a path that I don't dare to steer away from. It is my connection to the normal world outside of the ruin that is a no man's land. Bennett and Royal write about the uncanny as concerning a sense of unfamiliarity which appears at the very heart of the familiar. It has to do with strangeness, mystery, and eeriness. The uncanny can be described as the thoughts and feelings which may arise on those occasions when the homely becomes unhomely. With the high-rise flats in the distance and my knowledge about the desperate need for homes, especially council homes in Glasgow and further afield, I wonder again about the possibilities of staging a performance about home, how this was a home and is now a representation of a city that is unable to support its inhabitants. The mighty city in ruins embodies the threat of society's collapse. Doing something collective like a community performance in a building, cleaning the rubbish together and having a meal in the yard. Unlocking the radical potential of ruins, Brian Dillon writes about. Ruins are freighted with possibility, even with utopian promise. Thinking, for example, of the urban innovations imagined by architects such as Le Corbusier that depend upon a vision of the city laid waste by demolition. Yet I wonder how to keep a ruin, how to let the ruins speak. To quote Hayden Lorimer and Simon Murray, how do we go about letting a ruin have its say? Won't that disappear when a community event is staged here? I don't think that what I feel while exploring can be recreated in a collective arts performance. Like Diderot writes, no one hurries me along and no one is within earshot. I can speak to myself out loud, give voice to my afflictions, and shed tears without restraint. I agree with Lavery and Go that theatre has little of the solitary sanctuary about it. Yet I think that solitary sanctuary is necessary for experiencing the performativity of a ruin. Perhaps a recorded performance situated in the ruin would work best, one that is projected on a crumbling wall or a broken window, but is experienced on your own, like a ruin is best experienced on your own. Finally, I arrive at the Highland Fling. On the corner of a deserted street stands a deserted pub. I am too scared to go inside. This place is different from the other ruins. It is more isolated. The whole area feels uncanny and not just a ruin. There is a dark gap where I could enter, but I only walk around. Again, I wonder how to stage a performance like a play set in a bar about Brexit or romantic expectations of Scotland without ruining the ruin. How to preserve a ruin that is always only inhabited by ghosts when entering it with an audience. According to Paul Williams, the site specificity and the unanticipated feel of the place contribute to a form of understanding that cannot be achieved through highly choreographed, user tested, educated, department approved exhibitions.